outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a loss on their record that leaves you scratching their head. So when you look at Drew Brees, him being out, now Taysom Hill in, Jameis on the sideline, when is Brees going to come back? Broken ribs, stuff going on internally. Is this going to be something that helps this team or hurts this team? What we saw this past weekend, they looked fantastic. But what I saw yesterday got me excited about the Rams. And I know I'm jumping all around because one week is the Seattle Seahawks for me, another week is, that's the NFC West. We said this was going to be the best division, so I'm not going to apologize for loving a new team every week because they're showing up week in and week out. I'm not going to say clear-cut. There isn't any clear-cut dominant teams. Even the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers aren't the clear-cut best team in the NFL. Their record says, and they're a great team, but I don't think there's any team that's clear-cut.
The Saints are an enigma to me because they continue to win, but the quarterback situation is still a great unknown. They beat the Falcons, and Taysom Hill played a very conservative style and was efficient and was fantastic in that victory. Now they've got to do it again, and then eventually Brees, there's going to be a decision to be made.
Yeah.
Sean Payton. And it's almost like you can't lose, but you also can't win. So say Taysom does something similar to what Teddy Bridgewater does and goes 5-0 over the next 5 weeks, or 4-0, and Brees like, all right, I'm healthy, coach. That is a tough decision after 11 cracked ribs from Drew Brees, and Taysom's got this team rolling. Like, the Bridgewater deal last year was really interesting because it happened in September, in October. And I was like, all right, Brees is going to come back late October, get him in, get him going, and now he's our guy. I think Drew Brees deserves a chance to return, but if Taysom Hill takes this team on his shoulders, that is a fascinating dynamic for Sean Payton, and one that he is a far more qualified and better judge of what he needs and what he needs to make, because it's going to be very difficult to take Taysom Hill off the field if they continue to win. And yet when you get to the playoffs, are you really going to trust Taysom Hill in the playoffs, going up against Tom Brady, going up against Russell Wilson, going up against Aaron Rodgers? We've got Drew Brees on the bench, or are you going to say, am I playing Drew Brees with fractured ribs and just coming off that against Aaron Rodgers? This defense is good. The Saints are great. They're going to be the #1 seed if they continue to do this. I don't know what to make of them come January because a big decision is likely looming.
I don't think beating the Falcons twice and the Broncos is going to give him that hesitation. I think if Taysom is allowed to play and Drew's still out when they face the Chiefs, the only team with a winning record, the rest of the way, then it might be. I just don't think 2 wins over the Falcons and the Broncos and maybe the Eagles, whoever, is going to get you a chance to start in the playoffs or to start whenever Drew Brees is back. I think it's fair to say if he has to play against the Chiefs and beats them or does really well against them, then it's a decision.
Do you think there's a quandary of a healthy Drew Brees?
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying explain that. You think he might be sitting him because we're going to stay close?
No.
He's not right.
Brees is supposed to come back in 3 weeks, and we say, okay, 3 weeks. That's what Ian Rappaport said. And he fractured 11 ribs. He bruised 11 ribs. You only have 24 ribs. Like, he comes back, and Brees says, okay, coach, I'm ready to go. That's a decision to be made. I don't know if you want a 100% healthy Taysom Hill who's winning games, or Brees coming off a serious injury where he had the shoulder injury before that and all these other things. Like, I just think that if this team gets hot and gets winning and the team starts to believe on Taysom Hill, yes, it's Drew Brees' team. Of course it is. That's going to be a real heart-to-heart, though, on what we do, because last year they went back to Brees. Who knows what would have happened if Bridgewater was the guy? I
think even over the next month, I completely trust the Saints, even with Taysom. I'm in on them, mostly because I like Peyton and I like what I saw last week. I just don't like the NFC. Like, I'm looking at this proud conference and the George Halas Trophy and all the... Who's good? I like the Rams a lot. Never mind who's good. Who's great?
Yeah, that's it.
The Saints are great, I think, even with Taysom. And I think the Rams are getting great. But just a quick whip around. Packers, the Bears, nope. The NFC East, ridiculous. The Buccaneers in the South, like, who is jumping out is right now like, I'm into them.
Last night you watched the Rams. Are you like, Rams? I'm not.
I am.
You think Rams got it?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I think right now is such a fun part of the NFL season because this is when you want to start looking about who's getting hot and who's playing well. Never mind the last couple of months, and everyone will be doing it in 3 weeks from now. Do it now. Look right now before you come down the stretch about who's playing defense, who's moving the ball up and down the field. I know Goff was a little shaky in the second half. We know what Goff is bringing to the table. What their defense is doing, I'm into them. I think they're going to win the conference, or rather the division. We'll see about the conference. Pick your team now, because this is when they get hot before December. I think it's critical. And other than the Saints and Rams, there's nobody I love in the NFC, and I love those 2 teams.
Broncos, Falcons, Eagles, Vikings, Panthers. That's the schedule for the Saints and the Chiefs.
It's good.
Regular season's not the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Saints, we know what their expectation is.
What's great about the Saints is an embarrassment of riches, because last year when Drew Brees was out and he came in, just, vision him walking into the huddle. Teddy Bridgewater has to leave the huddle. He's your backup quarterback. He is now on the sideline.
Great point.
Drew Brees walks into this huddle now. It's like, hey, Taysom, no, Taysom, stay here. You're going to play wide receiver this play. Or you're going to play running back this play. Or you're going to be a quarterback, and I'll be out playing wide receiver. That's the luxury that they have when Drew Brees does come back. It's not removing Taysom Hill from the lineup. It's more just adding Drew Brees back in.
At GMFB with your thoughts, everybody. Mike Garofalo is here to give us some updates. Mike, welcome. Some key players got put on the reserve COVID-19 list just yesterday. What is the latest with Adam Thielen? And then those Ravens running backs that I mentioned when I was doing my waiver wires.
Yes, so Adam Thielen on the reserve COVID-19 list. Now, the teams don't announce whether that means it's a positive test or a close contact, so still working to figure out what the situation is there with Adam Thielen. If it is a positive test, that'll be a 10-day minimum waiting period that he will be out of action. If it's a close contact, he could be cleared by this weekend. So we'll see what more we can learn about Adam Thielen as we go along here. Meanwhile, Tom Pelissero and I are told that the Vikings are actually holding their building closed this morning right now as they await their test results. Seems to be some sort of a delay there, so they want to make sure that they don't have any widespread positives before they let anyone in the building this morning. And Kay, you mentioned the Ravens, Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins on the reserve COVID-19 list after testing positive. They will not play on Thursday against the Steelers, so Gus Edwards will lead the charge out of the backfield there. They think highly of him. They think he's actually one of the more overlooked players in the league. Well, now is a huge spotlight and a chance for Gus Edwards to show everybody what he can do and certainly what he has done in the past. Brandon Williams, the defensive lineman, he was a close contact, so he went on the list. But John Harbaugh and the Ravens were confident that it was going to stop there. No word today if there's any more positive tests, but we will monitor that for you, Kay, throughout the day.
Yeah, pick up Gus the Bus. He's available in 97% of leagues, 16 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown in round 1 of this matchup earlier this year. That was week 8. You're welcome. And thank you, Mike Garofalo. We've got Thanksgiving Day turducken action, and we get it kicked off for you on Good Morning Football. On Thanksgiving, we're here. We're live. Texans, Lions, Washington versus Dallas, the nightcap, Ravens, Steelers. Gus the Bus, I'm telling you, all those Thanksgiving Day games presented by Verizon. More GMFB up ahead. Just talked about Adam Thielen. Well, this catch was insane, right, Nate?
Oh, yeah, insane. But did you watch the feet, though? It's not just the catch. A little toe drag.